Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness has subverted my expectations, which was a pleasant surprise. I've been excited for this movie for a while now, and this was not what I expected, but it's still good. There's a certain expectation of viewer must have of what a Marvel movie should be, but this film puts a different spin on things. Honestly, going into this movie, I thought that this would be a fan servicey type of movie, but I was pleasantly surprised since this was not the case. I love the way they experimented in this movie, and trying something different really paid off. It is really good that these movies now have tried to mix up the Marvel formula, and I'm excited for what this implies for the future of Phase 4. This movie does a good job of having a very focused narrative. It pretty much focuses on the two main characters, Doctor Strange and Wanda. On the side of Strange, the What If episode where Strange loses Christine is now addressed in this movie. His arrogance and going to the extremes to achieve what he really wants really shows the consistency of his character. And it was used as a story element, which really creates familiarity considering that these stories are separate from one another and these characters are like considered different. This is the first mainline MCU movie that uses the multiverse as the main plot point. In other movies, it was only alluded to, just like how Thanos was alluded to in Phase 1. But now they're just using it as the main driving force of everything in this movie. There are also themes of acceptance, where Wanda has to go through an arc of accepting what is not meant for her. I mean, if you knew there was a world where you were happy, I would think you would really want that, which justifies Wanda's motivations. This creates a bridge with Wanda's 5 stages of grief from WandaVision, how she handles it and stuff, and this movie shows that, which is good continuity. Like, I feel like the Marvel TV shows are just really long movie side stories. However, not just Wanda though. Strange also has to come to terms that Christine and him were not meant to be. It gets brushed over a few times in the movie, then it gets addressed by the end, which was really satisfying. It creates a really complete character arc for Strange. We see two characters with contrasting but rather similar challenges that they must overcome in this movie, and it's handled pretty well. What I really like is the performances in this movie. They're really, really good. I like how the actors are giving it their all and they are really having fun with it. Even the side characters that I absolutely don't give a shit about are just giving it their all. I especially like Benedict Wong since this man has really intense acting in his scenes. I mean, look at this man.
Reinforce the shield! Sorcerers, fortify your mind!
He's really going at it hard. I also really like Scarlet Witch in this movie. WandaVision is a good show that made Wanda to a main character in the MCU, and it transitions well into this movie. Elizabeth Olsen has really grown into the character and her performance really adds up to that. She is really, really scary and they really show how powerful she is as she decimates the Illuminati. I also really like how they went about it with the horror elements. As an adult, you won't really get scared, or if you're kiddos, they might get spooked, but the horror elements were more of a stylistic choice rather than an intentional theme of the movie. The camera work and the visual effects add to this style, which reflects the personality of the director. Sam Raimi creates a dimension of where you can get immersed in and put at the edge of your seat. Which reminds me of how brutal the deaths are. They said they would handle the little witch.
Oh, we can handle you, little witch.
You just got pranked, bro!
Captain Marvel said that, and then boom, look at this. Like, this is just insane.
What you say? That you only meant well, cause you did.
I love how the freedom of the director is exercised, which goes back to how they really experimented on how a Marvel movie should be, what to expect, and everything like that. The movies that are self-aware and embrace the wackiness is something that I really appreciate. There was also this scene where they fight with musical notes, which was fun and quirky, and the sound design is really, really good. I really like fun scenes where all logic just goes out the window for a fight. It was just plain fun, and seeing an unconventional fight instead of just wizard karate from the last movie is really fun. However, this movie is an acquired taste because not everyone will appreciate all the elements that exist in this movie. The cameo of the Illuminati confirms a lot of stuff for the future of the MCU, and I'm glad they did not overstay their welcome. But the overall film does not feel as satisfying as the recent Spider-Man movie. It didn't feel full circle, and the last act of the movie felt abrupt with ending it. I was left like, that was it? I would have liked a more complete and well-rounded ending rather than an ending that sets up other movies. Like, the movie really grinds to a halt and tries to set up future stories. But I would say that the movie really lives up to its title. The maddest part? Yeah, this movie has really gone mad. It has just gone bananas. The inter-universe adventure, the gore, the jump scares, it all really mixes well into an enjoyable film. Just like those old slasher films where you run from the horror monster, that is what makes this movie enjoyable. Wanda is such a freaking badass and is scary as hell. Overall, this movie is more of a setup. I don't think Marvel is at the stage again to do shocking cultural event type of movies just like how the past movies have been. But I still had lots of fun watching it. And I honestly enjoyed it more than The Eternals, And it wasn't just a waste of time. I just don't think anyone would really appreciate this movie since it would require you to watch a lot of stuff before getting the real meat of this movie. And it will take a few more movies before the MCU engine revs up to the high, just like it was with Endgame. So I give Dr. Quack Quack and the Multiverses a 7 out of 10.